There has been a steady decline in LGBT acceptance in recent years, and while many people in the community love to blame it all on homophobia, many people in the community recognize it is the consequences of our own actions. We have kids being exposed to kink at Pride, a problem with over-sexualization, the erasure of basic biology, and an unhinged victim hierarchy. How the fuck did we get here? You give them f***s the right to marry and all of a sudden they're gonna want more from us. I hate to say it, but the old school Republicans, they were kind of right on that front. All jokes aside, what's up? I'm Jason. I'm a 25-year-old gay man. I'm from Virginia. I'm a dude who loves to yap and has started giving his opinions from an independent, moderate perspective. So welcome to the Chan. What's up? It's nice to see you guys again. I literally made a drink for this video because I'm gonna make a lot of enemies with it. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited. Pride has become this hypersexualized, protected train wreck that's completely derailed from its original meaning of celebrating the historical struggles our community has faced. Like in San Francisco Pride this year, we saw a man hosting a kink stand when it was just a kiddie pool, and he was letting people piss on him in broad daylight at noon. At noon! We also consistently witness like bondage and kink attire in broad daylight and these weird like kid-friendly zones full of questionable people. And I know I'm focusing just on Pride right now. I think it's a broader commentary on our community as a whole. Like our community has been completely hijacked by these extremists that are pushing insane ideas that a majority of us actually don't agree with. And it's just become completely obscene and degenerate, and so many of us are sick of it, dude. Hold on, where's my drink? I need to inject that vodka into my veins, dude. And now with the direction that like Pride in our community is going, it's no secret that a lot of us are getting completely fed up with it and no longer resonate with it because it's not an actual representation of a lot of our values, right? In fact, it's even a complete contrast of a lot of our values. And point blank period, like many of us no longer feel represented by this community that's supposed to represent us. It's completely unrecognizable. And the thing is, it's okay to recognize that your community needs to just recalibrate, right? We're allowed to criticize people in our community when they're doing things that are wrong or just weird in general. If we just like sit back and completely ignore the problems in our community, then at that point we're just blindly supporting it and even encouraging it. Now, I know like Pride Month is long over and it's not due till June of next year, which bang, 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 shoot me in the face. We don't need an entire month. This is something I'm very passionate about. I've been extremely passionate about it since I was literally like 15, 16 years old, but I've never had the chance to speak out on it. And now I just finally want to just like get all this shit out off my chest, you know what I mean? And what it all boils down to is like, I personally don't feel the need to celebrate myself because I'm gay, right? It's a complete aspect of myself that I did not choose. It's just kind of something. It's like the cards I was dealt, right? I don't celebrate the fact that I have green, blue eyes with a hint of brown. Why should I celebrate the fact that I'm gay? You know what I mean? And now, I can recognize there's more nuance to that, obviously. Gay people have been oppressed in the past, and they want to be loud and proud with who they are, you know? Which is completely fine. And I'm honestly not against the idea of Pride itself as like a celebration and an event, especially because of the hardships our community has faced in the past. Like, if you think about it, we didn't get marriage equality until 2016, right? That's pretty recent. It's not even 10 years ago. People used to be completely scrutinized, and even in extreme cases, they were beaten to death and killed for being gay.
Shepard was brutally attacked in 1998, tied to a fence and left to die, targeted because he was gay.
Which is incredibly unfortunate and sad. And then even in less extreme cases recently, people lost sponsorships for endorsing anything gay, right? I think Pride can be a beautiful celebration of the progress we have made, not only for our community, but for what people outside of our community have done to unite everybody in our country as a whole. But the problem is, that's not what it is anymore. It's a shit show that a lot of us in the community are completely against now. And this leads me into my first issue with like the whole movement as a whole, the herd mentality of our movement. It's just this whole community praises so much love, tolerance, and acceptance. But you're only worthy of that acceptance if you're regurgitating the same talking points that they always are. If they truly practiced what they preached, they'd welcome all walks of life, no matter who you are, what political stance you have, your gender ideology, your sexual orientation, whatever it is. They preach so much about community, which I love. I think community is extremely important, but yet they still scrutinize anybody who slightly strays away from their exact beliefs and ideologies. But not only that, like anybody who slightly disagrees just a little bit is considered a Nazi fascist bigot with internalized homophobia. The welcoming embrace of the LGBTQIA community is only open when they deem that you are worthy of their acceptance, which is fucked up. Otherwise, you're just completely shunned. Now, there's this idea that just because you're a part of the community, you have to subscribe to this certain amount of beliefs and political ideologies, whatever they may be. And that's just stupid, dude. I'm my own person, capable of forming my own opinions. I don't need a mass of people telling me how I should think. And like even using this mindset, you're assuming that I have to blindly agree with how the Democrats are handling LGBT issues. I hate how they've been handling everything actually in recent years. It's been a train wreck. This idea that I have to just roll over and blindly accept the like recent ideas of transgenderism simply because a couple of people have hijacked that entire movement and inserted themselves into it and added that letter onto our community is ridiculous. One more thing really quick I want to add on is like the complete corporatization of Pride in general. So many companies are using it as a means to make a quick buck, which is crazy. It's insane. They're not genuinely putting in work to help our community. They're just looking at us as a cash cow. It's ridiculous. Now, we can go a little bit deeper, especially if you're familiar with companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, whatever it may be. The largest private equity firms in the world, like BlackRock manages $10 trillion. What the fuck, dude? That's a lot of money. I got 10 in my bank account, you know? They incentivize companies to invest in ESG or else they'll completely withhold their investment money from them. Now, if you don't know, ESG is environmental and social and corporate governance. Republican lawmakers from all different walks of life essentially accuse these companies like BlackRock and Vanguard of using their influence to push certain political ideologies, especially liberal leaning ones. Ideas such as like reducing your emissions or hiring a more diverse set of candidates for your jobs, right? No wonder these corporations are investing in Pride and becoming super gay when literally nobody asked them to. Nobody wants them to do this. They just want BlackRock and Vanguard's money and all these other asset managers' money. Anyways, that's a whole other can of worms to open another video. Whatever, we'll move on from that. That's all I gotta say for that. I just wanted to give context behind why a lot of this is happening in the corporatization of Pride. And now let's just move into my second point, which is the complete over-sexualization of our community and the idea of just completely minimizing our value as human beings to be considered more sexually desirable. I think we all can agree, no matter what side we stand on politically as the gay community, there's an insane over-sexualization problem in our community.
And the over-sexualization is apparent in the apps that we can get. I mean, you can literally have sex on demand. Certain businesses are actually keeping doors open because men are having sexual relations in the bathrooms, and that's inappropriate. I mean, we want our privacy too.
It's something I've literally had a problem with, like I said, since I was like 15, 16 years old. I even tweeted about it one time when I was 16 and I got a lot of hate for it. It was kind of insane. I tweeted something out about it and like kink at Pride, the over-sexualization, people like wearing jock straps to Pride, whatever. And it didn't go viral, but it got like 100 retweets, which opened the floodgates to a lot of people to respond back to it. And I got a lot of fucking hate for it, dude. And that's when I was kind of like super insecure. So I just like dialed it back and I was like, all right, never share my opinion again. Got it. Cool. Don't want to deal with this hectic mess again, you know? And don't get me wrong, this is an issue that gets a lot of criticism both internally and externally outside of our movement. And I'm not gonna lie, dude, the hypersexualization of our community infuriates me, bro. Maybe more than most people. I can actually recognize that. I honestly feel like no one talks about how a majority of LGBT people place their direct value of who they are as a human being on how sexually desirable they are to other people, and how desperate so many people in our community are for sex. And again, I think this is a whole other can of worms to open another video, but I genuinely think it's like a deeply traumatic communal issue we need to have a very uncomfortable conversation about. We as gay people bring so much more to the table than just sex, right? Like me being gay is the least interesting thing about me. I am my energy, my humor, the way I make people feel when they're around me. I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a skydiver, a Lego enthusiast, a mountain biker, whatever the fuck it may be, right? I'm gay, but I don't need this weird external validation from others about it. I don't need to be obnoxiously visible just so I can respect myself and love myself. I can just be me. And it's just like, what about dudes getting bent over in bondage gear and whipped celebrates our progress as people? There's this argument that our movement has always been about like kink and whatever it may be. Sure, that may be true.
So actually, Pride started as a sexual liberation riot. We were proud that we have sex with each other and not feeling like we had to hide that anymore.
We couldn't have had Pride without everyone that was there from the get-go, which also included the leather men and women.
Kinksters.
Kinksters.
But that doesn't mean that it was okay and it should be flaunted in broad daylight, dude. Especially in front of children. But we'll get to the whole children aspect in a second, don't worry. And I'm losing my mind, like how does behavior like this convince people to respect us as people? All it does is make us look like clowns in a complete spectacle for people's entertainment so they can laugh and they can point at us. Walking around in a public area at noon PM in kink and bondage attire does not mean you're being loud and proud. It's for your own selfish gratification and to satisfy your own desperate need for external validation. It's weird completely subjecting other people, strangers, and children to your own desires is completely predatory. It's not for public spaces. Sorry, I don't give a fuck. It's not for public spaces. And it's like, isn't kink all about consent too? Like, it's always stressed in the kink community how vital consent is to it. So why are you selfishly subjecting other people to your kinks in broad daylight without their consent? It's directly contradictory to your own values. There's no way to justify it. And if you try to justify it, you're weird. I'm sorry, you're weird, you're predatory. And no, it's not just being yourself. In any functioning society, there are certain behaviors that are acceptable and unacceptable in public spaces. Limiting these behaviors to bars and clubs is not at all oppression. It's just knowing a time and a place. Just keep the kink and the sex to 18 plus clubs. Y'all got circuit parties. Leave it at that. You know what I mean? And if you genuinely have a problem with what I said, you're weird. You're a predator, and I'm tired of being nice. We need to stop being nice to these fucking weirdos. If you want to subject strangers and children to your kinks and your bondage, you need to get fucked. You need psychological help. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I'm tired. I'm not doing it anymore. And the thing is, we can talk about the privilege our community has been given to act like this in public with no repercussions, with this completely unhinged behavior.
Even with kids, it's fine to be nude as long as there's no masturbation or anything like that. Okay.
Public indecency. It's literally illegal. How the fuck are we getting away with this, bruh? Why don't the cops stop this? It's insane. I feel like I'm going crazy. Why do we celebrate the behaviors of these people as a community? Why are we not celebrating the history and the accomplishments of our people? Admirable accomplishments of our people, I should say. It makes no sense to me, honestly. Like, people are so much more than what they offer sexually. And unpopular opinion, someone sexually desiring you, it's not a compliment. Just saying. Now, this brings us into our second issue. So I know I mentioned bringing kink into Pride with like children and stuff a second ago, so I want to expand on that. I don't understand this idea of including children to perverse behavior in the name of love, acceptance, and inclusion. It's weird.
If you're worried about seeing sexual acts, you probably shouldn't be at Pride, just because of the fact that Pride is about sexual liberation.
I'm saying that kids and kink can coexist at Pride in a totally fine way.
And the thing is, you can love gay people and openly criticize their behavior as a community. It's fine. I'm a gay man. I'm telling you, you can do that. I don't give a shit if you're straight. And, God, I'm sorry. Sorry for the truth bomb. None of these people are ever attractive. None of them. They're all overweight, fat, hiding their faces behind a pup mask. It's ridiculous. Like, you know that stinky kid from Charlie Brown who has that like dust cloud follow him everywhere? That's what they all are. That's what they all smell like. Like, I'm sure they smell like shit. And what pisses me off so much is these motherfuckers like waving a fucking furry flag around as if them being a furry or being into pup play has ever warranted the same amount of oppression and struggle that our ancestors did when it came to gay and queer struggles. That's so fucked up. Matter of fact, you still deserve to struggle. I'll say it. I don't give a shit anymore. I'll say it. And I get it, because a lot of people just want to love and welcome others. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, think people are inherently good and they just want to understand other people that they don't understand. But in the name of like tolerance, we're completely losing basic societal values. There are age-appropriate ways to teach kids about gay people, right? Kids don't need to be shown sex-related acts. You don't need to bring your kids to Pride. You're not only teaching your kids that this behavior is accepted, but you're showing them that it should be idolized and applauded. And it's weird. It's so weird, dude. I just don't understand this like aggressive need to be accepted by kids in the queer community and just exposing them to this lifestyle in general. And the thing is, I don't even think kids should be exposed to like politics super early on, or people will get mad and be like, you don't think kids should belong at drag shows? No. There shouldn't even be kid beauty pageants. Those are fucking weird too. And the thing is, our community has moved into a community of just blind acceptance. Anyone and everyone is welcome here. While yes, that can be a very beautiful idea, it's okay. We can gatekeep just a little bit. We need to gatekeep a little bit, because the thing is, when you open the floodgates and just welcome everybody in blindly, you give them the reins to just completely hijack the movement and use it for their own nefarious reasons. And at that point, you just have to affirm any talking point or any action that these people partake in. If you allow weirdos into our community, you allow them to be the spitting image of our entire community.
I want to talk to the kids. Hey kids! So that we could connect in a way that has more privacy and stuff that we wouldn't share like in the comments of a video like this.
Anything you don't blatantly condemn, you are directly standing for. I know y'all remember on the left, like silence is violence, right? That is something that's gotten lost within Pride, because I actually do agree with that statement that silence is violence. Not literal violence, metaphorical, you know what I mean, okay? Like, these people and these weirdos think that they can express their own predatory desires in the name of acceptance and tolerance. They think they found a community that they can insert themselves into and they will belong in. They don't think they're ever gonna face any consequences for this weird shit. Not only that, but when people do weird shit in the name of the LGBTQ community, we should be openly condemning them and speaking out and saying, this is not what we stand for, this is not who we are, this person is not part of our community. We shouldn't just sit back in silence. All we're doing is letting these freaks speak for us and being at the forefront of our movement. We need to bring back like stoning or some shit, dude, I swear. Oh my God. Sorry for the hostility. I feel like nobody's talking about this with as much passion as they should be, and it's just, it's grinding my gears, dude. Oh my God. Everyone on YouTube seems to dance around it like, just don't bring your kids to Pride. It's a little inappropriate, but like if you do, it's okay. Don't worry about my No. It's weird. You want bondage and kink at Pride? Cool. Make it 18 plus. Awesome. Sweet. Or even better, keep it to the bars and the clubs and the circuit parties that are 18 plus venues, and nobody would even have a problem with it. Especially because everyone in those environments actually wants to see it when they're there for it, right? You don't need to subject children and even random strangers who are of age in broad daylight just walking down the street going to brunch. You don't need to subject them to your random bondage and shit. That's a point I haven't seen other people touch on. Like, random people are just walking the streets of the city they live on, and then it's like, oh, some dude in a jockstrap. What the fuck, dude? Anyways, like, no, if you feel the need to expose yourself to children and think that it's in the name of love and acceptance, you're part of the problem, and you're a predator. I'll say that with my chest, right here, I'll say it with my fucking chest. You're a predator, you're a pedophile. You should not feel the need to expose yourself in any way in front of a child to feel validated or loved or accepted in a society. If you do, you need to go to the deepest pits of a mental asylum. I don't care anymore. I'm tired of being nice. Dude, I'm so sick of it. You need to be put on an FBI watch list and be investigated. You're a fucking weirdo. And then any person in the community or a straight person outside of the community, if you have a problem with it, talk about it. I don't give a shit. Call it out. Talk about it. You have the right to do that. Fuck all these people who say you don't. All right, all that boiling down, let's move on to my next point, which is the fabrication of oppression and struggle in our community. And like another, oh my God, frustrating thing I have with our community is like how it's broken down into all these sub-communities that are just like sucking at the teat of just oppression and trying to win the fight of the oppression Olympics. It makes no sense.
I am a white, transmasculine, femme, non-binary, temporarily mostly able-bodied, neurodivergent, obsessive-compulsive, chronically ill, culturally Jewish, Unitarian Universalist, non-monogamous, demi-low romantic, gray demi-bisexual, survivor of a...
And like all these people are convinced they don't have rights. Like furries, asexuals. What rights don't you have because you don't want to fuck somebody? What? Girl, don't nobody give a fuck that you don't want to fuck somebody. You're fine. You're fine. Like, there are so many people out there who are so desperate to be oppressed. It's honestly disgusting, and I think it's completely pathetic. It's like once we got the ability to legally marry people of the same sex, all these organizations who profited from our struggles and hired people based on our struggles were like, well, shit, we don't have another, like, oppressive thing to fight for, so we gotta create one, you know? We need a new struggle. Let's create infinite genders or some shit. And the thing is, I'm actually all for expressing yourself in a way that feels comfortable for you. I actually think that's a byproduct of American freedom, so long as it's not hurting other people. However, completely just denouncing science and societal norms that we have lived in from the dawn of time is complete meth behavior, by the way. And the wise words of Azalea Banks, this is meth behavior. Like, honestly, me personally, I'll honor they, them pronouns. I don't really give a shit. I got bigger problems to worry about. I'm not gonna be foaming at the mouth if you tell me you're they, them, you know what I mean? I will be a little pissed off if you say z, zim, zay, zer, demon, rat, self, or whatever the fuck. Like, that's just ridiculous. What the fuck? But it's also like you can freely express yourself while recognizing basic biology. You know what I mean? In my opinion, the left has completely just like weaponized false oppressive narratives in this desperate attempt to prove that there's still a struggle going on when there really isn't in this country. That's why you only see non-binary Democrats and leftists. There's no non-binary conservatives or Republicans because it's a complete product of the left. And the thing is, we can also talk about how like new wave trans people are just non-binary individuals who are hijacking the trans label and erasing real trans individuals who suffer from gender dysphoria and go through the motions to transition into the gender they want to be seen as and assimilate into society without causing a disruptance. Which, cool, be non-binary, challenge the gendered norms. Like, I'm honestly actually like down for that. That's dope as fuck. Yeah, be you. But you're just not the same as genuine trans individuals who suffer from gender dysphoria, transition, spend thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on surgeries, and just want to assimilate into society as the gender they feel like they are. You're not the same. And I feel like all this just emphasizes the fact that like there will never be enough freedom for this community in its entirety, ever. And lastly, I know this video is getting long, but this is my last little section, my last problem I have with the community. It's the victim mentality, right? Anyone who slightly disagrees with us in any way, shape, or form is a hateful bigot, even when their ideas are completely harmless, in my opinion. As LGBT people, we're always put on this pedestal that like we can do no wrong and we're always right. Like anytime you completely argue against what somebody else says, like your opinion is automatically void if you don't fall lower on that victim total pool than the person you're talking to. If you're a white gay man, yeah, sure, you're a part of our community, but you're also white, so your opinion is automatically void because you're white. It's just like, what? And then it's like even going a step further, if you're a black gay woman who disagrees with somebody you're talking to, well, your opinion is completely void because you're not a trans, demisexual, non-binary femme. Like, it's just exhausting playing this game with him, dude. I also just don't like the initiatives our community has taken to limit free speech and started trying to criminalize hate speech. I personally don't think hate speech is a thing. You want to call me a fag? Call me a fag. I promise I will not lose sleep over it. Because what the fuck do I look like giving somebody else or a word that much emotional power over my emotional well-being? A lot of the people in our community have like zero emotional regulation skills, and it's just so sad, dude.
You should be doing it! You should be deleting that fucking video!
Anyways, it's just sad. Like, the loudest minority in our community has completely taken over, hijacked, and run this community into the ground. I'm fed up. Dude, I hate the pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality, but shit, pull yourself up by your fucking bootstraps, bruh. Now, there's a lot of like nuance that goes into these topics. Of course, I can recognize that like the victim mentality brings in a broader conversation and like social media, the mental well-being of people post-COVID, whatever. I 100% believe in that. It's completely stunted people in the emotional growth of people within the last like 3, 4, oh my god, maybe like almost 5, no, like 4 years now. Like the growth that was stunted during COVID was outsourced to social media platforms that force-fed everybody a false reality of what the world actually is. There's a growing disconnect between what people think the world is and what it actually is, right? Honestly, I feel like that's where the anger kind of comes from, in my opinion. Again, holy shit, I'm going on tangents. That's an opinion for a whole nother video. This one's getting long enough as it is. Like, we definitely need to start talking about the trauma people have faced from COVID as well, but I'm happy to make another video on that. I think that's where we just kind of cut it for tonight. Anyway, though, that's about all I got for this video. If you're watching this and you feel like you don't fit in with the gay community, it's okay. You're fine. Be your own person. Celebrate your differences. Find things that resonate with you and love them, accept them, nourish them, grow them, whatever it may be. There is no need to express yourself in the same way that everybody else does. You don't need to go to circuit parties, download Grindr, wear bondage, whatever the fuck it is. Ugh, ugh, gross. You don't need to pigeonhole yourself just to conform to whatever else the community is doing. You can just be you and do your own thing. Your people in your tribe are going to come to you. Most of the people who partake in clubbing, the sex parties, open relationships, are all carbon copies of one another. I hate to say it, they're the least interesting people on the face of this earth. You'll talk to them in any conversation you have with them, you'll just want to slam your face into a brick wall. They'll never admit it, but they're deeply unfulfilled people who cry themselves to sleep most nights. I'll say it with my chest. This thing right here, boom, 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 saying with that shit. I only say this because I've known all these people. They are consistently crying themselves to sleep and waking up the next morning convincing themselves that this is what they want and this is how they want to live their lives. It's okay to want to be better than that, and you should want to be better than that. It's not a fulfilling life in any way, shape, or form. I have seen it completely destroy relationships and friendships firsthand. Again, somebody only sexually desiring you, it's not the compliment you think it is. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I'm very passionate about the subject. I feel like I could make 8 parts on it. Oh my god, I could keep building on it, but I'll cut it short here. Spare you guys of the agony of listening to me talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, though. I'll catch you in the next video. Later, skaters!